Awesome. So, congratulations on this. I saw it last night. It's fascinating. It's captivating. It has some very intense moments. Where did this story come from? How do you guys even begin to write something like this?
Um, I'll take a stab at that. If Kika were here, she would be able to speak on that. She was the beginning of the story. Kika Magales, she's our lead. She has a story by. I wrote the screenplay, and she had been working on it for a few years. And one of the things for her that she's talked about a lot is just ever since the eyes of my mother, looking for films with more meaningful work and wanting to be a part of projects that have a greater story to tell. And she got wrapped up into the subject matter of human trafficking and felt compelled and led to make that be her story to focus on. And then there was actually, amongst her meeting with victims and talking to law enforcement and watching a ton of documentaries, a friend of hers actually confessed to her that she was trafficked out of Los Angeles. And that was something that really cemented that she wanted to tell this, this story between these two people, Sophia and Ryan's character. And then once I eventually hopped on to the screenplay, I was able to flesh out a little bit more while still maintaining what she had always set out to do with the story, which was, get more focused on what these people go through. But for Sophia in our film, the trafficking is more of a backdrop of what she's experiencing and everything she goes through. There are many true events that actually happen to real victims of human trafficking that we interwove into her story.
Yeah,
Um,
and firstly, thank you for saying the kind words about the film, and I'm really glad that it was impactful and that you liked it. And yeah, like Chris said, like this film is it's not based on one story. It's kind of a collection of true events that we've kind of tried to bring together to, I mean, firstly focus on a very human, small story between these two people. Really focus in to put to give the audiences something to imagine when you hear the term human trafficking, because you really think of like Liam Neeson and Taken and stuff. Like that's not really what it's like. We hope that this is a little bit more of a grounded approach, but at the same time, like we have an antagonist character that's also meant to kind of be, going back to the true story thing, who's kind of meant to be an allegory for that, that boogeyman character, well, woman in this case. So hopefully there's a good mix. Hopefully we can kind of focus it in, but still have something to say about the broader issue. So.
Definitely. And going into this project, did you always know that you wanted her as your lead actress?
Yeah, I would say
Oh
that
yeah.
that was always intended for Kika in this journey, because she had poured so much in time and effort, and there's a sort of emotional place you have to get to as an actor to be that vulnerable, going through channeling the that kind of experience that I think there wasn't really there was no one else who would have been better for that choice, because the amount of time she had spent with the material and this character, that yeah, we were always like, it's definitely going to be her.
And without giving much away, the beginning of this, you're not really sure what to expect. It's very when the pace of the movie changes, it's very jarring in a very good way. Where did the concept for the pacing of this movie come from? Because it really helps solidify the spontaneity of the entire film.
Well, yeah, I think there was this element, and I hope this isn't like giving away a spoiler, but there's this element of Sophia having diabetes, and having this urgency that Ryan doesn't know about, this medical complication that, he was lazy, he didn't do his research, and he, let that major detail slip up, and that's a huge problem for him in his context, right? Because he he was not expecting that. So I think the moment, and I'm not sure if this is exactly what you're referring to, but definitely once that realization is made, things get a little bit spicier, in the pacing of the film, and definitely for both of them, the urgency is heightened. So we wanted to reflect that, in the pacing.
And just to add to that, actually, too, there was an intent initially when Kika first brought me the story, and I was working on the screenplay. There was an intent to sort of mislead the viewer in the beginning, because that's kind of how it happens for a lot of these people. There's this sort of initial thing that pulls them in, and then they're stuck in the spider's web, so to speak. And we wanted to make sure that we paralleled that aspect as well. So you as a viewer saying that you went through that visually is great, because that was the intent in that beginning part. And Nick's execution as a director and vision to make it actually work for it to be that proper pacing, from the frames on screen to the performances down to the music, was it's very rewarding to hear you say that, because that was like, yes, it's like a box checked.
Yeah. Yeah, we,
Awesome.
we, we really hope that first act is very unsettling to the viewer. And
It
it's
is. It very much is.
to echo what Chris is saying, it's really nice to hear that it was, because, him and I and Kika, we've watched this film so many times now. It's sad to say we've kind of become desensitized to some of this stuff. So hearing it from, that from an outside perspective is really cool.
Yeah.
Another thing that really caught my attention was the dual language. I really like the fact that there's two languages in this, because it's the way we are. It's more realistic that way. And not only that, but she gains strength from her past. Where did these elements come from? Why did you guys decide to include it?
One of She would love to hear that, by the way, because she
Mm.
is, Portugal. She loves her country, and she loves to be able to weave that into any of her performances. And being one of the core members of the team, both Nick and I think, I'll speak for you two as well, Nick. We were happy to champion that into the film as much as
Oh,
possible.
yeah.
And the element of her past, to me, and Kika, when we were first writing it in more detail, it was always important to remember that these people, no matter who they are, at what point in their life that has led them to be in the situation that they're in, they had some form of past that we can all find similarity in, a universal life experience, in one way or another. And they're probably in these situations and environments, having that as the only thing that might be what they can pull from.
Mhm.
Definitely. And indie films always have such a weird journey. It's not always, coming to Dances with Films and premiering at the TCL Chinese Theater. So what does it mean to you to screen at such a big theater?
I mean, it is awesome. We're super thankful that Dance has selected the film to be shown. We think it's awesome that we can get it in front of all these people and, be able to connect with all these other filmmakers too that are doing the same thing. And there's so many good projects there. Like it's literally this week it's just kicking off and we're about to be diving in full on. So yeah, I mean, it's awesome and honoring and that they would select the film and we can show it amongst
Yeah.
all these others. So yeah,
It's a major accomplishment for any filmmaker. It's kind of what motivates you and drives you. You have these on your character sheet, or like in a video game, you have these sort of achievements that stay with you in your journey of life. As a filmmaker, you want to be able to have some of these, as much as you possibly can. It's what pushes you. And I would definitely say that this is one of those moments of immense pride and gratitude towards every single person that was involved in making this film a possibility, and hopefully getting to be there on the day of our premiere and
yeah,
celebrating with us.
yeah. It's going to be very cathartic to finally get to have our wrap party because COVID kind of stopped us from even celebrating at all. It was like we finished on the last day. I think there might have been a champagne bottle popped, but no one could really drink it because
We
there's
have a
the mask
Polaroid.
laws. So yeah, and then we walked away, and then here we are 2.5 years later, after pushing this thing slowly uphill, for 2 years. As most indie filmmakers know, that journey, it feels like it's never going to end, and this festival definitely kind of feels like the, kind of representative of the end of this endeavor from the whole team. So it'll be really cool.
Definitely. Yeah, for me, I always enjoy covering dances with films because all the projects are so high quality. They're so unique. They're not stuff that you would typically see in Hollywood just because the topics that are covered are so I don't want to say taboo, but they're so like people don't want to touch these topics. How do you feel like being one of those films that are just so incredible?
Well, one, thank you for saying that. That's
Yeah,
amazing choice of description. So thank you there. For me, I would definitely say I think Dances with Films and any other festival that is inclusive of your non, typical style narratives that you see in Hollywood is making a case that we need to make sure that there is still a balance to both show and business, and you can have show that feels different and it's still informative and it's still a spectacle and you still walk away from it having that experience that you do as a viewer that motivated me when I was younger to get into this business now later in my life. That it makes a case that we can tell stories this way, and we can touch on subject matter that most studios wouldn't want to do, and maybe they should start considering that.
Definitely.
yeah.
Well, congratulations to both of you. It's an incredible project. Would you like to plug your screening date?
Surely, yeah. I mean, if anyone wants to come see, the premiere of the film, it'll be July 1st at the TCL Chinese Theater at 5 p.m. There are tickets available, at the box office or on the website for dances. So, yeah, I
Definitely
mean,
come
we'd
out.
love to see you there. It's a huge theater, so it's going to be great.
Yeah,
And dude, I can't wait to watch this thing on a huge screen. That's going to be incredible. So,
it really is.
yeah, hope to see everyone there.